What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger in Historic Brawl. Kroxa is a 2-mana Rakdos commander, Elder Giant 6/6. It's one of the escape Elder Giants from the Theros Beyond Death. When Kroxa enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Kroxa enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life, and then you can escape it for double black, double red, and you exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. So if you're not familiar with how the mechanic works, essentially for 2 mana, you play this card, it immediately dies, but you get the ETB effect. It goes in the graveyard, and then you can escape it from the graveyard, so you can essentially cast it from your graveyard by exiling 5 other cards, paying black, black, red, red, and then it comes down and the same ETB happens, except this time it stays as the 6/6. And then every time Kroxa attacks, you get that same trigger, the same ETB trigger. So it's very, on an empty board, if you swing at someone with Kroxa, they have the potential of losing 9 life because you're swinging at them with a 6/6. And if they don't discard the right kind of card, or they have no cards to discard, which this deck is going to really run them out of cards with a lot of our discard effects, they lose 3 life from that. So it's a very powerful effect, both as the ETB and as the attack trigger once we get that going. And then, like I said, if we remove all their stuff, or they just don't have any way to block it or anything like that, they could lose up to 9 life. That's a big clock for the opponent. And then if they ever kill it, it just goes to our graveyard and we can escape it back out. So it's really hard to get rid of. You have to exile it to really get rid of it. So the way the deck works is a lot of discard, right? We're running all the black discard effects that you can think of. Inquisition of Kozilek, Duress, Mind Spike, Thoughtseize, right? Getting our opponent's hand early. And then we're gonna try to, once they're out of resources, burn them out with like Lightning Bolt, obviously our commander's ability. We have Grave Pack, because Kroxa dies when it ETBs, when you cast it, we'll make them sacrifice a creature every time we do that. We got Sheoldred to drain them out, and then a bunch of other cards to just whittle away their life. And if we ever get to the end game, we can breach the multiverse, bring back 2 things from our, from one from their graveyard, one from our graveyard, or Virtue of Persistence, and just every turn bring back something from our graveyard. And we can even loop that with Kroxa. It won't stay as a creature, but we'll get the ETB trigger every time, so it'd be every turn we would make them discard and lose 3 life, essentially. So that's the deck. I've been gone from the channel for a couple days. I caught a cold, so I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I've been a little under the weather. Getting back into the swing of things now. Excited about this deck. I'm also excited, I built a Discord, so if you check the description, there's a Discord for the channel now. I know a lot of you have been wanting to interact with me and the other people that subscribe to the channel more frequently than just the comment section of the video, so feel free to sign up for that. You have to be a subscriber to get into the Discord, but that's the only entry fee, so to speak. So go ahead and check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, let's get into the game. If you like this kind of content and you're new to the channel, subscribe. Really appreciate it. The channel's been growing. I got my official nod from YouTube saying that I can be a YouTuber now, so that's cool. Hoping to keep the channel growing. So go ahead and subscribe. This deck is a little tricky. It's kind of like, how do I put this? All or nothing is not the right way to put it, but it very much is like you either win hard or you lose hard. There's really no in between. This is fine. They get to go first Jetmir, so they're going to create a lot of tokens. We have Burn Down the House for that. Wow. They, I don't know. Sure. They didn't even let me... I was literally looking at my hand for like 3 seconds. Like, that's not even an exaggeration. I'm pretty sure we were only looking at our hand for 3 seconds. They already gave up. Okay. Well, we were going to keep that hand because we had Burn Down on... Burn Down the House. So that would have pretty much effectively wiped their board. And since Kroxa is a 6/6, Burn Down the House doesn't kill Kroxa. If it's already a creature on the battlefield, of course. But, we might have... if we lined it up right, we might have been able to, you know, turn 4, play Kroxa, turn 5, burn down the house. And that would have been a pretty big swing in the game. Rana and Linvala. Does this... I forget. Isn't this kind of like a stacks commander? Activated abilities of creatures your opponent control can't be activated. Okay, we don't have activated abilities. We have... Right? We have ETBs. Activated abilities. Yeah, I don't think we have any activated abilities. Okay, cool. We don't got to worry about that. They get to go first. They are in Orzhov, which is scary because they'll have a lot of exile. We do have Black Market, which is nice. Tiny Bones. We have a good curve. I think we keep. Polluted Delta can get us our red source. So can Fable. We don't have a turn 1 play, so... I guess we do now. Damn. Okay, well I guess we just do it, right? Polluted Delta, Crack It, Blood Crypt, Dragon Rage Channeler. This is a big card in our deck. Wasn't planning on taking 3 life on turn 1, but here we are. Now every time we play a non-creature spell, we surveil 1. This helps us fill the graveyard. And they're wise to get rid of that. However, that's 1 less exile effect on our commander, so that's good. They're gonna ramp. That's fine. What do we do here? We can Tiny Bones, but then there's no guarantee we can Black Market next turn. I think Black Market's important because they're ramping, so we need to keep up a little bit. What is this, a 3/4? So Bone Crusher doesn't kill it. We kind of need an answer for their 3/4 flying vigilant creature eventually. We can Bitter Reunion. We could also just Kroxa them. That's true, we could just Kroxa them. I think we just try to line up our future turns with Fable. Fable Passage. Do we have double color in our hand at all? We don't have any double colors, but we're eventually going to need double of both. So let's go get a red source since we have a swamp in our hand. And that way we have double red, we'll have double black, and so any land we draw will help us cast Kroxa's escape ability. They can't... Wait, no, yeah, they can. They can cast their commander. It's 4 mana. No. Yeah, unless this is on... Yeah, they can cast it. Paladin class. What does this do? Spells your opponent's cast during your turn cost 1 more to cast. Okay. We don't really interact with our opponent on their turn too much. I mean, I guess Bone Crusher's instant speed, but a lot of our stuff is sorcery speed. Let's move our lands over. So now we have all of our colors. We have double red, double black. So what's the best way to do this? We could... I think Black Market's probably just the best play, right? I mean, we could also Kroxa them and because they're down to 3 cards, and we have like a full grip. We have 7, so we could just Kroxa them. Let them play their Linvala, right? Is that, or Drana and Linvala, or maybe we Tiny Bones and then we get some more. Once we make them discard with Kroxa, we get a benefit off of it. Okay, cool. So that's the, I mean, I was thinking it, but I didn't say it out loud. The other thing is that they're just holding up a bunch of removal, and that's why they're kind of waiting, because they could have just played their commander, but then they would have been tapped out. You have Gix. Reveal a creature or planeswalker. So the only one is Bone Crusher. Ooh, Grave Pact. Alright. Yep. We get that down. Now whatever creature they play, we can make them sack it. Now they are Orzhov, like I said, so they could go get a D-Spark or something. The interesting thing is that even when Kroxa is on the battlefield, it is a 2 mana creature, even though we escape it for 4. So they have to find something that hits small creatures, because some of the exile effects, like D-Spark, hit mana value 4 or greater. Sword to Plowshares was one of the only kind of like all-inclusive creature exile. There are other ones, but they have to be careful about which one they get, and sometimes people get that wrong. Take a look at our graveyard. We have 4 cards, so we're almost at a place where we could... Okay, that's really funny. So we're just gonna make them sack it. I don't... Oh, I see. They got a creature. Okay, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Resolve. Okay. Well, we can fill the graveyard. Gotta be careful about our life total now. Get an untapped land so we can Kroxa. I mean, they're just gonna sack their token, but that's fine. It says whenever a creature we control dies, right? Yeah. So we could start making creatures with the black market. Make them discard the last card in their hand, which is a farewell. That's a good one to get rid of. Decline. They have to sack a creature. Play the black market. Now we're gonna take a lot of damage next turn, but they gotta play more creatures so that the grave pack doesn't get them. Okay, but it escapes, or it didn't escape it, so they don't get to keep it. Yeah. It's just gonna go back to my graveyard. Decline. I mean, you know, that's fine, but they could have gotten the Dragon Rage Chandler or the Bone Crusher Giant. Those would have been permanent cards to get, so it's kind of a... That's... If they had to pick one, that's the one that I would have picked. Okay, they just start swinging. That's fine. I see, okay. Take action. Okay, so we're gonna take a lot of life here, but we definitely need these two. Celestis can help us gain some life. We could have discarded it to Bitter Reunion. That might have been the right play. Oh, but we can Kroxa now and make them sack Shieldred, so that's probably the right play. Double red. We have... Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Okay, play Kroxa, make them sack Shieldred. Discard a card. Decline. They have to sack Shieldred. Now if they attack with the Hive, they'll lose the Hive because we'll block. Legends. Oh, they tap the Hive. So they're going to play their Murderous Strider. Okay, they're out of cards. Let's take as little life as possible. Play the Swamp. Can we still... Yes, we can escape Kroxa here. Get rid of all the lands. I'm clicking the cards, please. There we go. Is that what we want? No, we want to keep the creatures. We'll do it like that. Okay, we're on thin ice, but we're doing it. We're doing the thing. Nope, let's just pass through. We didn't want to attack because they still have the Hive, and we're down to 3 life. They can play their commander. Okay. They can attack me for 4 next turn. So we kind of need to find a solution for that. We can attack them for 9, 12. So we don't have lethal. With since they have no cards in hand, it would do another 3 to them. So let's start off by, well, this does 1 damage to them, right? It does. So that's still not enough. Still not enough. So let's start off by Bitter Reunion. Get rid of this, draw a fresh 2. Breach, okay. Yeah, I mean that would gain us life if we got Shieldred, right? Shieldred. We get this 7/7, okay, sure. Let's see what we get. We can get Bone Crusher and they have protection from creatures. Oh, wait. They all have haste now. Wait, did I just find lethal? I think I just found lethal. That was so good. Well, like I said, if you you either win hard with this deck or you lose hard with this deck, but man, we just won so hard. I stumbled into that lethal, so wow. But that's my typical play style, stumbling into lethal. So what happened there, to summarize, I got this card out of their graveyard. I gave everything we have protection from creatures, which means they can't block us. I wasn't thinking about it that way. I was going to give us protection from creatures so that they didn't have any good attacks, and then Grave Pack, like when we block, would blow up all their stuff. But I didn't even think about it because I forgot I had Bitter Reunion, which says if we pay 1, we can give all our creatures haste until end of turn. So now they literally can't block all of our stuff and they just die. That was awesome. Okay. Well, Bitter Reunion, good card. So was Breach the Multiverse. Fun fact. Alright, let's get into game 2. Kroxa is one of my like all-time favorite cards. I just think it's such a good, like, well-designed card, you know? And it's very like flavorful to the Rakdos colors. It has discard and damage baked into one thing. It has graveyard recursion built in. It's very flavorful. I hope they build out the rest, like they do an escape Elder Giant for each guild. I think that'd be really cool. They already have Uro, and I think they have a couple other ones, but I don't think they have them all yet. Okay, we go first. Cedh. The main thing with Cedh is killing it early. Grave Pack's good. Lightning Bolt's good. I think we keep. We don't have a red source yet, but we can maybe find one. I mean, we're only a 2-color deck, so I think we'll find a red source. We only need 1 red source to cast either of these. Cleric. Okay, life gain, sure. Pass. I think we cycle this. Get something in the graveyard and get one card closer to a red source. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Kroxa. We don't have to hold up mana to kill. They're gonna play Cedh this next turn. They always do on turn 2. So let's just get Kroxa cooking. Keep it in the graveyard. Now here's another thing I didn't mention in the first video, but it's so easy to click take action to put it back in the command zone, but you gotta be careful. You want to decline and keep it in the graveyard. I've made that mistake many times. It's one of those weird commanders that you want to keep in the graveyard. See, they play Cedh this. Yeah. You know how your deck works. Okay. Land. So probably Dragon Rage Chandler into Go for the Throat, right? So that we can surveil. That does kill Sithis, so I think we'll keep it. Dragon Rage Chandler is 1 card away from getting its ability. Wow, nothing. Okay. Nothing, huh? We can probably get rid of this Village Rites. The reason Village Rites is in here is so that when Kroxa ETBs, when it's about to sack itself, we can Village Rites it and get value off of the death trigger, but since we're kind of already past that point, I think we might as well just get more stuff in the yard to try to bring back Kroxa and get a couple cards deeper. Keep that on top. We need the lands. Discard Village Rites. Draw a couple lands. Perfect. 2 lands. That's great. Is this instant speed? It is instant speed. We'll just attack. And end the turn. Now we have, as we learned from the last game, we have the ability to give our creatures haste. So we'll keep that in mind. Maybe we can Kroxa and give it haste. They choose to do nothing. That makes me think they have like Wandering Emperor or Settle the Wreckage or something like that. So we got to be careful. They are in white. So maybe we just set up. Maybe they're going to try to exile Kroxa when I get it down. Who knows? We have double black and double red, so it doesn't really matter. I guess more black because we have Grave Pact in our hand. Maybe Young Pyromancer to get more stuff down. Put more pressure on them. Can we escape? Well, no, we can't escape Kroxa. So let's just do it like this. There's Stick on the stack, probably for their Fable Passage. Yeah, we'll just attack you with Dragon Rage and hold up our 2 removal spells for your Sithis. Sound good? We can still Grave Pact. Oh, by sacking a creature. We don't want to do that. In turn. How many cards we have in Graveyard? 4. We're getting close to... Now keep in mind, Kroxa is one of those 4 cards, so we need 2 more cards to escape Kroxa. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I wonder if they have a protection spell. Let's see. Nope. They do not. Yep, make 1/1, surveil 1. Ooh, we could get in their hand. That's actually probably a good thing to keep on top at this point in the game. It's also a land, technically. Solve? They make a 1/1, right? With lifelink? Yeah, okay. Pass? My turn? So we have some options. We could, like, lightning bolt their thing. We have some options. We don't have enough cards to escape Kroxa yet. We're probably not going to be able to do that this turn. So we could still give everything haste and really knock them down. I don't know if that's worth it or not. It's probably definitely worth it to get in their hand. Card types. As long as there are 4 more card types. So what kind of types do we have in here? Instant, creature, land. So this is a sorcery, right? Yeah, so that would give us another card type. Why don't we do it like this? Get Dragon Rage Chandler online. Yep. Yeah, that'll fill the graveyard. Calyx is probably the pick here. Yeah, get rid of that. Okay. We're down to 1 timeout, but we got Dragon Rage Chandler on. We can kill the young Pyromancer too. So let's just attack. We have to attack with this. But let's not attack with the young Pyromancer. We don't want to take that trade. They take it. Keep up Lightning Bolt. Cedh now costs 6. We can Lightning Bolt that as well. Surveil. Yep. Same land. We have a bunch of stuff in the graveyard now, so next turn we can Kroxa, give everything haste. We know what's in their hand, at least we know these 3. They have Kenra's Transformation, which is really good against Kroxa, but you know, we can always kill it with Phyrexian Tower, put it back in the command zone. Sack it, I should say sack it with Phyrexian Tower. Sorry, opponent. I don't know why I was stuck on my trigger. Okay. Sure. The 4/4? Yeah. You feel free to attack. Okay. It doesn't have vigilance, so yeah, no blocks. My turn. Okay. Terramorphic Expanse. Sack it. Put more stuff in the graveyard. I guess more black sources for Grave Pact. Why not? This still gives colorless light. Yeah, okay. Just making sure. You. Come on, Arena. You. And you. Trigger. They're gonna keep that Kenris. Oh, okay. Never mind. Activate. I don't even know how much damage that is, but I don't care. Double Kroxa trigger. Give everything haste. Ooh. Down to 14. Maybe they have a farewell. That would be a pretty big blowout. What does this thing do? It makes their stuff cost less. Iliad. Okay, yeah, they can make a big guy. Esper Sentinel. Ah, but it can't attack. Oh, okay. So bedevil this guy. Okay, I was gonna try to figure it out in my head. Yeah, I probably would have paid for this because I can't play Grave Pact. Ethereal Armor. Yeah, so this isn't like Totem Armor, where if you try to kill the creature, it doesn't actually kill the creature, it just kills the armor. When I saw the word armor, I got a little scared that I didn't read the card, but okay, so we would have paid for the Esper Sentinel, they wouldn't have drawn a card. This would have died, which would have meant this would have gone to the graveyard, which means Iliad would have gone back to being an enchantment. So they would have only had Esper Sentinel as a blocker. Then we would have attacked again, so that would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 plus Kroxa's trigger. So maybe lethal if we did it right. It would have been very close, and they would have been empty-handed next turn. So yeah, don't blame them for scooping. This is a true mid-range deck. Like, it can play aggro when it needs to play aggro, and it can play control when it needs to play control. I think mid-range is probably my favorite playstyle. I do love me some control, but mid-range is just so versatile. A good mid-range deck. Okay, mono green Nissa, but not the Not the 5 mana Nissa. This is the landfall Nissa. Okay. We go first. Thoughtseize. We have Corrupted Conviction. I mean, I think this is a keeper. And Pyromancer. We have both our colors. I mean, yeah, this is a very good hand on the play. So it's kind of like, what's it called? That, I can't think of the thing. Anyway, let's just do our turn real quick. Lotus Cobra. That's what I was going to say. Lotus Cobra. Eric. Means hexproof. Okay, well that doesn't get around Sheoldred's Edict. This is card draw for them, so I think we get rid of the Garruk's Uprising. Because our deck is trying to run them out of resources, and if they have something that gives them more resources, our deck kind of doesn't work. Oh, I should have done this. That was a mistake. Okay. Well, let's just play the Young Pyromancer. It's not a bad play. We're still on the play, so we're 1 turn ahead. So that wasn't as big of a blunder as it could have been if we were on the draw. So yeah, we really needed that black source. I wanted to play Kroxa and Corrupted Conviction on this turn. So let's just do what we were gonna do. Get a card in the graveyard. Gain a life. Go get a black source. We can hold up Sheoldred's Edict. Let's just attack for 2. Hold up. Yeah, I already said that. We can also Baron more if nothing happens. I mean, they're going to be incentivized to play their commander. See what they do. We also have double black and double red now, so that's nice. We don't have very many cards in the graveyard, though, so we're far away from escaping Kroxa. Okay, they level 2. So let's Baron more. Okay, Temple of Malice. Good one for next turn, because we only need 3 mana for our play next turn anyway. Yeah. Oh, Nasty End, though. I mean, that's an even better one. Okay, so let's not... Yeah, let's do Nasty End. So let's Kroxa. Okay, hold on. We gotta do full control. Full control. Kroxa. Autopay. Resolve. 2 triggers on the stack. We want to make sure this one's first. Yes. Done. We could resolve it, but I'm just going to be careful and do it like this so we draw the 3. I don't want to miss out on that. Decline, keep it in the graveyard, make a 1/1. Yep, we can take off full control now. Draw 3, resolve all. You discard a card. The hexproof one, okay, cool. There we go. Not the greatest 3, but that's 3 cards that we weren't gonna... That now we don't have to draw over 3 turns, right? So it's not the worst thing. I mean, lands is never a bad thing. Village Rites is a little awkward. We kind of already did the thing that we wanted to do with Village Rites, but... It's fair. Attacks my Pyromancer. It's a good play. We can kill that thing with the Hydra. We have all of the sack things. Well, I guess we could sack this token. I mean, that's not a bad play, right? We can't... We need more stuff in the... Oh, we can bring Kroxa out. So this would be... If they have another land, this would be a 5/5. So Kroxa being a 6/6 down is actually pretty good pressure against what they're trying to do. We can still do the Village Rites play and play a Swamp. So maybe we should do that. Yeah, I think it's worth it. We need some other cards. This 1/1 ain't gonna do anything against mono green. Orcish Bowmaster is pretty nice. Engrath's Rampage is pretty nice. So I think because green has pretty much no way of interacting with this card in a meaningful way, let's just get it down. Nasty End. Baron more. Let's see. I try to leave creatures in the graveyard. I don't have a lot of ways of recurring them, but I do have ways of getting creatures back out of the graveyard in this deck, like with Breach the Multiverse and the Enchantment Virtue. So I try to leave permanents that I can, especially creatures that I can bring back in the graveyard and not exile them. So Ashaya, oh, it's a 7/7. Okay, but we can get rid of both of those next turn. Claim. Yeah, see, here's one right here. I can get the Young Pyromancer back. So actually, it came to fruition the next turn. We need. Let's see. We can Ingress Rampage. Target player attacks a creature. Yep. And then Edict. A non-token creature. I always have to read that. Hi. Let's claim. Okay, they're just gonna scoop on 25 life. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yep. Mono green. This is a tough matchup for you. I mean, there is a world where you just like ramp. If you were on the play and you ramped out ahead of us, there's definitely a world where you could win this game. You know, Ashaya could be a 14-14 and then, you know, we're running into some trouble, but it's a tough matchup for mono green. Didn't even let me do the thing. I was going to do the thing. Oh, well. Let's do one more. I'm glad I'm getting to showcase this deck because I made at least one other Kroxa video several months ago. This is a slightly more updated version, but they're pretty much the same deck, and it didn't perform very well. Again, it's one of those like hit hard or totally miss kind of decks. So if this is your kind of, if you like this kind of deck, just know that you're gonna get like a roughly 50% win percentage, and it's not like your fault as a player. It's just the way the deck is designed and where it sits in the queue. It's very much all or nothing, but it's very fun. So you know, I encourage you to play it. I'm on a good streak right now, but if I play like 100 games, I'd have like roughly 50 wins and 50 losses. You know. Okay, so we have all of our colors. They get to go first. Aragorn. We can kill it with Feed the Swarm. We can also kill it with this. I mean, this is a okay hand. Yeah, their deck doesn't really work without Aragorn down, so I think as long as we kill Aragorn, we're okay. Now, this is one of those like 4-color value pile decks, so you never really know what you're going to get with these. Do we just play the tap land? But I kind of want to Inquisition them. It's a tough call. I think we do this. It's what our deck's meant to do. We get to look at their hand. Yeah. Well, people hate hand hate cards. They really don't like me looking at their hand and discarding stuff. I didn't even get to look. So mana value 3 or less. So we would have taken probably the Expressive Iteration because it's mana fixing for them. So they have green, green, white, blue, green, white. Yeah, so they needed a red source. This was going to help them dig for that. We could have taken this as well, but now we get to see their hand and we get to play around this stuff for the rest of the game. Okay. Well, opponent playing the 4-color value pile is thin-skinned, but what's new, right? I just want to play my multicolor good stuff deck. Why won't you let me? Me. Your tears fuel me. Okay, this will be a tough one. Atraxa Praetor's Voice. So this is old Atraxa. The proliferate one. So this could be any number of different kinds of strategies. It could be planeswalkers. It could be +1/+1 counters. It could be poison. We don't really know. We kind of just need to take a generally good hand. At least we're on the play. Meat Hook is good eventually. Underworld Breach is a little early. We don't have anything in graveyard to get. This is kind of meh. I think we can... I never want to mulligan good mana. This helps us scry too, so maybe we keep. It's eventually good, right? Okay, we'll keep. We're on the play. We have time to dirtle a little. Yeah, right? Okay, let's keep her. That's better. See, like if this hand had Heartless Act in it from the beginning, we would have just kept it. So land tax. Do we just not play a land? No. I wonder if we don't play a land and we like fall behind and never let them trigger this, if they can't win this game, because they do have 4 colors to get through. That's such a like 40 chess move. I don't think it's worth it to like, especially because we have like Invoke Despair and stuff. Yeah, let's just let them activate their land tax. Go ahead, get all your mana. Okay. Did they not activate land tax? I wasn't paying attention. Okay, well, we'll find out. What do we do in this turn? Kroxa, probably? And Thoughtseize? Sure. So let's let them discard... I want to do it in this order. Let's let them discard the card that they'd like to discard, and then let's make them discard a card they don't want to discard. So they... Get Lost is the card that they would like to discard. Decline. Now, what cards are you keeping in there? Swords to Plowshares. They could have activated that, couldn't they? They could have exiled my commander. Cultivate. Kaya. Kaya's eventually bad, but we have Invoked Despair, so I'm not too worried about it. Yep. Might as well go get those lands. Yeah, so they didn't activate land tax because we would have been able to see it. Obviously, when we Thoughtseized them, we would have been able to see it. I was tempted to get rid of the Chromatic Lantern, but they have Cultivate. It's kind of the same deal, you know. We could also blow it up now. Cards in graveyard, not a lot. Alright, well. Destroy target artifact. Do we have a creature in the graveyard? We do. We could bring back Kroxa and make them discard twice. Maybe that's worth it. Maybe discard twice. And damage. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's better than... Oh, from a graveyard to our hand. Well, yeah, that works the same way, right? Yeah. Oh, I see. Never mind. Oh well, it's fine. That's not exactly what I thought was going to happen, but I just miscalculated how much mana we had. It's all good. It's still a good play, getting rid of the Chromatic Lantern. Cultivate? Yep. I think that they think that they're going to get to Kaya and take over the game, but that's unfortunately not the case because of Invoke Despair. We're just one swamp away from activating it. So... we could destroy their land tax. It's turned off right now because we don't have any land. They have more lands than we do. That's not really worth it. Just Kroxa and hold up Heartless Act. They have plenty of stuff to get rid of, but it's costing them life. Cedh? I don't remember what this one does. What does this one do?
Get more power for me.
Okay, gotcha. Need the mana. You get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn, target artifact you control becomes a 5/5. Okay. Well, this is the only artifact they have right now, so not super worried about that. I think we just hold. They're gonna play Kaya. Yep. And now they have two planeswalkers to choose from, so that is a bit of a problem.
Your end is
Okay, well, we got a little mana screwed and double planeswalkered. So maybe this is a planeswalker deck. So we can Underworld Breach and then Thought Seize them, but I mean, yeah, I think with that Kaya, I think we might just be out of the game. We'll see, we'll see. We could draw some removal. I can't do this. Escape. Oh, it's 3 other cards. Whoops. Oh well. That puts another card in the graveyard at least. Burrow. That's the other escape Elder Giant. I'm sure you're all familiar with that, but just pointed it out. Heartless Act does nothing because it's gonna die anyway. If we had an exile effect, that would be good, but we don't. They could play it. They could ultimate their Tezzeret, which would be really cool. Okay, so now if they minus their Tezzeret for the ultimate, we might have a chance to win this game. Take action? Yeah, why not? No, we really need something else. Do it. Oh, they didn't do it. Okay.
a valuable
Yep.
addition.
Well, if we draw some kind of planeswalker removal and we can invoke Despair, then we're back in this. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much out of this game. Swiftfoot Boots. Not really going to do it either. Even if we could bring back Kroxa, they're both at 8. I think we're out of this game. No point in playing it out. Alright, let's do a deck review. Alright, so there's the deck list. I think the deck performed really well. I think we had like a 75% win rate, or maybe higher than that. I don't know how many games we played. It was either 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5. Which is really good, considering we played against cedh and we played against some of the other top tier decks. Obviously, that last game was against Atroxa, which is both Atroxas are like top tier. So you know, no shame in losing to those. It's kind of they're kind of extremely powerful. In fact, I think that Atroxa, the one we played, is like the most popular commander in the commander format. So that just goes to show you how, versatile and, powerful that card is. Especially like with the Planeswalker synergy, it's tough to sort of interact with those kind of permanents all the time. But yeah, that's the deck. Like I said, it's a very strong mid-range deck, but it is a little tricky to pilot. It's one of those decks where every decision you make really matters, which is kind of, it's a little disingenuous to the other decks of the formats, implying that that's not true to them, even though it is, right? But this deck especially, because there's so many moving parts. Like, you want to fill your graveyard, but at the same time you want to advance your board. At the same time you want to take cards out of the opponent's hand, and you also want to remove their stuff, right? All so that you can play Kroxa, get it out and have it basically take over the game. So at like in which order you do those things really matters. And even little things like the fetch lands, like the quote unquote bad ones, like Terramorphic Expanse, like there's a lot of them in here, way more than I would put in any other deck. Like, you got the Overlook here, and the Maestro's Theater, Fabled Passage, Evolving Wilds. We have like the actual fetch lands. We have all the crackable sacrifice this land, search your library for land cards. And the reason is because we want to fill our graveyard. These are great ways to fill our graveyard, but it makes the deck a little clunkier, right? Because, I mean, it makes your mana, it fixes your mana, but it makes all your lands come into play tapped. Like, these could have all been basic lands, and our deck would have been a little bit faster, but then we wouldn't have stuff in the graveyard. So it's things like that that make the deck a little tricky to pilot. That's just one of many things, right? Other things like, Dragon Rage Chandler is a great card, right? But you don't always want to surveil and then put stuff in your graveyard, even though that's part of the strategy. Sometimes you want to surveil, and if it's a good card that's applicable to the board state, you want to keep it on top. So there's just like a lot of moving pieces with this deck, which to me makes it super fun. It makes it feel like in any game I have the ability to win the game if I play it right. Whether or not that's true, right? That's up for debate, but the deck makes you feel like that you have the ability to win any matchup, because you're limiting their resources while bolstering your own. And those are kind of my favorite types of decks. Control, for example, will just remove everything until they get to a point in the game where they can cast their big things, like their Planeswalker or their big, ultimatum spell or whatever, right? Or aggro will just put a bunch of stuff on the board as fast as possible and try to beat you down. But mid-range is in this really cool spot where it can play both. It can be an aggro deck against a control deck, or it can be a controlling type deck against a aggro deck. And then if you're playing another mid-range deck, like a cedh deck, I would consider a mid-range deck, it can like go blow for blow with that deck, by limiting their resources while you bolster your own, like I said before. So I feel like in any matchup you have the ability to win with this deck, as long as you get enough reps with it and you start learning about the little nuances and whatnot. So if you like the deck, you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, join the Discord after you subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you feel like there's any card that I missed in here, or if there's a commander that you'd like me to play. I'm open to suggestions. I have a big list of commanders that people have suggested, and I'm slowly making my way through them. Gotta collect those wild cards. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.